Hello and thank you for joining me for this edition of Jibba Jabba, the vocal part of the magazine. Chris Levine joins me today to talk about his new film, Operation Darkwater. And for those of you who don't know who he is, he's an actor, producer, writer and director, featured in an editorial over 2 years ago. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Good. I'm back, baby. I'm back.
It's good to hear your voice again. First of all, for the audience, tell me where you are. Where are you at the moment?
In freezing Los Angeles, California.
Okay, well, snap. We're in freezing London. It's really cold. Listen, I saw your trailer for your new film and I thought, listen, I've got to reach out to you and find out a bit more about it. So I know that it's dropping this Saturday coming, so you can't give me too many spoilers, but we can talk around it. What's it about?
So it really follows a veteran named Charles Sutton, who is called in by me, his old commanding officer, who now runs kind of like the Blackwater type of side money missions now. Mm-hmm. And I tell him, listen, he has some tragedy in his life. We've been apart for a minute. I bring him back because the tragedy that he suffered from, I think I have a way for him to get revenge in a way.
Right. Okay.
And it's up to him to go down that rabbit hole, if not.
So the genre's very much action. I mean, I saw the trailer and there's no room for anything more. It is a non-stop action movie. Bigger budget? Is it a bigger budget than you're used to working with?
Honestly, about the same. It's just the team behind it works on a lot of just network shows, a lot of ABC and NBC stuff. Mm-hmm. So because of the strike, they were able to kind of put together a team that's usually working on big shows to kind of make this film for us. And that's why it looks so amazing.
Yeah, it's a great trailer. I know it's around Instagram at the moment. I'm going to put all the details at the end of the podcast in the podcast description box. So don't worry about that. Tell me about the actors you're working with. I mean, who's there? Any big names? Anyone you've worked with before in the past? Are they a new team? You definitely had synergy between all the cast.
Yeah, the director, Raul, who's also a writer and producer on it, and I think he's edited it too, he keeps his team very small. So, I mean, crew-wise, I've worked with all of them before. Cast-wise, the other lead next to me, his name is Dominique, and I worked with him on another film that's coming out called The 4 Points later this year. Okay. But I've been meaning to kind of get involved with him more, like spend more time on camera with him. And so when he reached out as a producer on this and said, listen, I want you to work with me on this, I mean, it was pretty much a no-brainer. I wanted to read the script, but just because I wanted to know what they did, but there was no doubt I was going to do it.
You've had some amazing fight scenes in your movies. I know. Mm-hmm. I watched one of them with you online. Tell me about the fight scenes in this. Did you have to undergo any special training? Were you rusty? Did you have to go in for training again? Did you have to lose weight? Did you have to gain muscle? What happened?
No, you know what? Usually, I come into these things, I prep for 3 months, I diet, I suffer. Yeah. And this one, the only thing I had to do was grow my beard out a little bit. And I felt pretty good on that one.
Yeah, it suits you, Chris.
Thank you.
Did just out of interest, did you keep it or did you shave it when it was finished?
I go back, so I shaved and then I did some other things and then now I have the beard again. So it comes full circle.
Okay. What about let's talk a little bit about the actual movie itself. Where can people view the movie? I know it's dropping this Saturday and it's in the States. Will it be doing around anywhere where we can watch it here in the UK?
Yeah, for sure. So we're doing like our kind of screening with a film festival this Saturday as the premiere as well. Mm-hmm. And then it should be on like most VOD platforms, Tubi, Amazon Prime, things like that for international within the next month or so for everyone to watch it.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. And what kind of project will you be moving on to after this movie? Is it something you've lined up? Are you working on something? Will you take a break before your next production, or are you going to jump right in?
Well, the idea of taking a break it scares me, because I always feel like,
wow, workaholic, Chris.
Yeah, but like I never feel like I've done enough. So the idea of taking a break, I just feel like, if I take a break, I'll have to start all over, kind of feeling. Yeah. So no breaks, no time off. We finished a Christmas movie that I wrote, produced, and starred in last year. Right. And so now we're shopping around. I'll probably end up in Cannes, France in May with it. Wow. And then a release later this year. And it's my best film to date. I mean, it's very different for me because it's a comedy with some heart. Yeah. Most people see me in these dramas or actions and things like that, but it's funny.
I was just about to ask you that question because the genres, you haven't been typecast. You're able to move around the genres. And I mean, what is your favorite genre? Do you have a favorite? Do you like being versatile? Do you like being able to move around different genres, or you prefer a certain genre?
I don't prefer anything. I mean, doing The Handler, that 100% action film, and learning Muay Thai for it and stuff. Yeah. There's something cool about being the badass on set, right? Like in the movie world, nobody's going to hurt me, in that sense. Yeah. So there's something cool about that, but, being on this Christmas comedy, God, it was so nice to just like not have to get hurt, not have to get beat up, and just kind of relax and have some fun and really be myself. Because when I saw you in The Handler, I thought, I just wanted to, I know this guy, I know him. Yeah. You were like a super action, I don't know, Bruce Willis type guy, Yeah. A real badass, so. Real badass, and not in real life, but definitely in the movie.
Yeah, but I imagine you've had your fair share of injuries. I mean, what, for the audience who do know who you are, what kind of injuries have you sustained or had to overcome in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely sprained a lot of things. I've definitely got the wind knocked out of me. I was in concussion protocol once for being dropped on my head on a wood floor. And yeah, I mean, scratches and bruises and things like that. I think the worst thing that it didn't happen, but it could have, is when we were playing with, like sugar glass, it's supposed to like break when you hit it. Yeah. And the guy doing it wasn't very trained with it and hit me upside the head with it like he was supposed to, but it was so close to my eye that maybe an inch over, and it would have been really bad for me. So
I bet you doing a comedy was a really good thing.
Oh, I mean, I was ready for it, and I'm, it's funny because like now we're in pre-production for a couple things as well going forward this year, and no comedies are involved in this. It's like one's an action, one's a horror film. So it's time for Chris to get dark and dirty again.
I wanted to ask you about the film festivals that you will be attending. Will there be footage of it on Instagram? How can people view it? People who want to follow your story, where will they be able to see things that are happening behind the scenes at the film festivals? Where can they view it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm mainly on Instagram, but I do post on Twitter and Facebook too. Okay. So I'll probably do like Instagram Live or something like that, or YouTube Live even. For the festivals, just so people can kind of see behind the scenes of what it looks like from my perspective.
Which probably looks amazing. Yeah. Okay. Look, you've worked in all different sort of parts of the movie making process. You've been in the acting, in the director's chair, producing. Would you say that it's all balanced, or would you say you're leaning towards making movies? I know that you're definitely very active behind the screen and in front of it. So are you heading that way?
I don't really know yet. I do enjoy just being a part of everything, every aspect of it. But it's a good question. I think,
thank you.
Yeah. I think majority is probably acting, I would say. Right. I do enjoy making films and writing and stuff, but I think now going on, 10 plus years, I think it's time for something for me to more focus on the acting side of things, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. Well, what about the process of making movies? I know that when we last spoke, we talked a little bit about making movies and how finance is raised and how people can write off their taxes. I still remember talking to you about this. Have things changed in the movie making process? I mean, post, let's say the strikes. I mean, have they changed? Are doors opening? Are people networking more? Are there other avenues to pursue? How can people, what is it like if I was to ask you for a snapshot now? Is it just as hard or is it easier?
It's just as hard, if not harder, I think. The holidays are just winding down, so things are just starting to start casting and things like that. But I feel like because there was so much time off that everybody's hungry again. People are hungrier than they've ever been. So that just means competition is at an all-time high.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and are you coming to London anytime soon?
I do. We've talked about it. I have family in Grimsby and Cleethorpes, and they're always hitting me up. When are you going to come visit? Blah blah blah. So I don't know if it'll be this year.
I asked you that question. It was at least and you said I'm coming.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. It's tough to fit. Your day-to-day life here in LA, and then when you go into these festivals, these markets, Berlin and Cannes and stuff like that, it kind of takes up a lot of resources to do that. But I turned 40 this year, so the plan is to go to Tokyo, Japan, and celebrate.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't know you were going to turn 40. That's pretty amazing. You look great. You look like you're 30.
Trying to stay young, man. The key to it is staying in shape. I think when you start putting on that weight, it really makes you look like a lot older than what you really are.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, what about you're going to plug this movie, I know, because that's the purpose of this. I really want to get the mass out there and let them know that the movie's coming out this Saturday. Do you want to drop any names involved in the movie scene and people behind the scenes that maybe you want to give a mention to? Is there anyone out there that you would like to name drop?
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, the director, producer, writer extraordinaire, Raul Perez, he's brought me on to 2 other projects already and this one. And, he's already thinking of writing a script for me in mind. And so I appreciate the love there. I think he's got a vision. I think he's a very talented dude. My co-star in the film, Dominique, and a new co-star, her name is Chris, not to be confused with me. She brought the heat. I've never met her before. She was just casted online blindly for the film and came in and brought this great performance with, a tearful, truthfulness to her that I really enjoyed. And everybody else. I mean, you can't make a movie that's great without having a great cast and crew, and everybody brought their weight to it, and I'm appreciative of it.
So I know normally I ask you this question whenever I meet you. I ask you this question: what did you take from the movie? And I know I asked you that question about anabolic. What kind of thing did you take from this experience for this movie?
It's crazy because something like Anabolic Life, I mean, that was so life-changing, so many things, so many parts involved that I was involved with. So obviously that's going to be more impactful and I'm going to get more out of it. Now working on this film, specifically Operation Dark Waters, I think it's, for me, the first thing, I guess, is the idea that I feel like I'm sometimes too young looking, at least, to play certain parts, including this as being a retired commanding officer who runs a Blackwater group right now. And I was like, man, I feel like older, more mature looking dudes would be running this kind of thing. But, you have to, I learned that, that even if you don't think that you look the part, if you truly believe that you are the part, and give it all you got, then people will believe it no matter what you look like. So that was a good learning lesson for me on this one specifically. I mean, has there been any kind of for example, Anabolic? Do you ever think to yourself,
I should go back and make a sequel. I mean, a lot of actors do. What about you? Is there anything in your past that you'd like to resurrect, someday, perhaps, maybe?
For sure. I mean, I think over the last 10 years plus of me making films, especially producing films that I've written, I feel like a lot of them have sacrificed due to budget and time constraints.
Sure.
And so if there was a redo, I don't think I'd redo Anabolic Life. I think that's a standalone thing.
That was amazing. Yeah.
But I'd like to redo No Way Out, which is my most successful horror film. But,
right.
We had no money with it. The director changed the script of mine a lot. And I think the original script definitely deserves another shot.
Yeah.
And I'd like to not redo, but create a sequel to The Handler eventually. Whether that director wants to be involved or not. Again, I think what I would do this time with it is kind of play it more. I guess not take it as serious. Not in my training, of course, but like in the sense of like make it a little more tongue in cheek, have a little more fun with it. When you're trying to do John Wick, but you don't have the John Wick budget, I think that sometimes hurts you. And I think if we look back at Handler and did it for the budget, that we had, I think it'd be even better of a film, and people would take it a little bit better. So those are two that I would like to.
Listen, I think we're all on a learning curve, right? We're all on a learning curve, and that's what makes us all so individual. Unique, we're on a journey, so myself included. I think I too, after doing so many podcasts, have sort of not taken it as, so seriously. I'm having fun with it, really am, So I wanted to tell the audience as well that, I hope to have you back on the show at some point, maybe whenever you get involved with your next project. The audience are connecting with your story. Don't forget, if you are tuning in, that Chris has an editorial with us, details of which I'll place in the podcast description box. I know, Chris, that you're a busy guy, so I'm going to let you go.
All right.
But I'd love to have you back on the show. We are now on Jibba Jabba, which is a radio station for the Networking magazine. And I'll be screening this at a regular time so people in the States can tune in. That was the purpose of it, really. So as we get more worldwide, people can have more access to the podcast. So it'll be on a playlist.
Amazing, man. And just so you know, man, I'm such a fan. I think you're in a different industry per se than I am, but I mean, you grind harder than anyone I know. You're a professional. You're lovely to talk to. You have the best British accent.
Thank you so much.
And man, I see you out there and you're pushing for independent artists to be successful, and anybody who can help independent artists, supports them. To me is always a winner, and hopefully, I can continue to give back to you and your brand as we both climb the ladder.
Yeah, thank you so much. I want to climb the ladder with you, so thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time, unfortunately, we have for today. There'll be plenty of details about Chris in the podcast description box, and on our website as well. So look out for that. Chris, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to me again.
Of course, brother. Thank you for having me.
And hopefully we'll catch up soon.